here. Did you recognize yourself? No? Okay. Well, I'm very honored that you choose me to be the personality to represent you. Yes, so I prepared myself and I searched in the archives of humanity, and I did find something extraordinary. I did find a very famous, magic little sentence that allowed community to give their whole trust, their whole love to the personality that represented the community. And that is Lebolep, Natalep. Lebolep is for the storyteller, Natalep is for the audience. And it's great to have found the sentence. And I know you don't know it because I said it when I entered and nobody answered me. So, yes, so it's a very good news. But I have a bad news also, is that to practice it's exhausting. One says that this community were coming out from these evenings totally wrecked. They would take, 15 days to recover because they had given all their soul to the personality, but the personality, it was full of the others. He could jump and laugh and run for 15 days without stopping. So I wouldn't do that tonight. So we have, with the beautiful technical staff of the theater, we have invented something for your own pleasure so that you can enjoy the evening and have, that you're not tired. Relax, don't worry. You stay here and I'll present you the help of the evening. It's a little technologic machine. It's called the machine, the loop machine. And you just need a microphone and 3 little pedals. One is recording, one is repeating, and one is going back and forth. And you will see that with this little machine, I'm going to do all the job. I'm going to imagine the voice of a community, and I'll make a choir, and then you'll see what we should do with it. So you just relax, and I'm going to show you. I just need some suggestion. For example, Mister, if you don't mind, you're on the first row. You show you would like to participate. So I imagine that you participate. We just imagine. Okay. And it goes like this. So Lebolep is for me, Natalep is for you. It goes like this. Natalep, 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 Natalep. Just imagine, you will be already tired. And the machine will do that the whole night, no problem. But I could hear in your voice you have a little bit nervous. So we'll take another man like Mister, if you don't mind, because you also like to sing and participate. You're part of the choir of the Barbican Center and recognize something like this. Natalep, 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 Natalep. Yeah, good, good. Natalep, not bad. And two men that manifest themselves, it provokes all the other men. So the choir of men wants to be part of the pleasure. So something like this. Natalep, 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 you can feel that the earth starts to move, huh? The men are in action. The men, the support of the community, the breath of the community. So now the women, they waited to be discreet, and now they're going to sing also and bring their beautiful harmonic vision of the world. Natalep, for the storyteller to come. So we can do like this also, reverse. And this development. And this development. Amazing. So that's everything you can do with this machine. So now this is the symbol of your participation. Now I'm going to sit there and tell a little traditional English tale. And when I will need your energy, participation of the audience, and give me all your breath, support the rhythm that I need to tell stories, I'll just come back here, press the button, and then this beautiful choir that imaginally represents your community is going to come back, and just beautiful choir that will give me all the energy that I need to go into the story, and will give me all this energy that I need to have like the choir, one that I just, and will give me all this energy, the one that I just record now for half an hour. And will give me all this choir, the one that I need to imaginally require. And will give me all this choir, the one that I need to imaginally require. And will give me. I pressed the wrong button. This is just typical of technology. Thank you very much. They think they're going to help you, no? They think you're suddenly going to be supported by the unreal world. And just a little human mistake, just the wrong, why 3 pedals, one should be enough, no? It's like a bug when it comes to your computer and sick, and suddenly the whole world disappears and you're just throwing away in the void emptiness of nothingness. Spoil my whole evening, all right. So now let's do something. We just pretend. I'll just say les bolettes, you say Nathalie once or twice. Just pretend you participate and we go on. So, les bolettes. Was it that bad? I mean, the man, please, Why the women? Tierce, quinte, septième, the ninth, if possible. With rhythm. Okay? Les bolettes. No, the enthusiast is there. Very good. Could we have the music too? Les bolettes. Les bolettes. Les bolettes. Les bolettes. Les bolettes. Les bolettes. Nata. Okay. Anyway, it's better stop because there's this moment where suddenly the world changes, and suddenly you have the feeling to be in a bus going to a sport competition, and suddenly this guy comes and takes the microphone in the beginning of the bus and starts to sing. There's always someone who takes the microphone to sing, and a whole bus sings. And you're sitting there wondering, trying to disappear into the bus. Why am I here? Yeah, but without bus, we wouldn't travel. And actually, when you're sitting there in this theater, I'm a little bit like a bus guide. You're on a tour. You go to the end of the world. And I'm here. I'm showing you everything I see. Everything, and you imagine what you want. We're traveling to the end of the world, and you trust me, and I tell you everything. There's only one question. Who is our driver? Once upon a time, there was a man, and he thought that words were bad, bringing truth and falsehood, peace and war, black and night, day. And he heard about that there was at the end of the world a monastery where people lived in peace because they lived in silence. To be accepted, you had to know sign language. And there would be a contest with the master who would stand at the door. So our man, he learned sign language. And when he felt he was ready, he left. Train, plane, he went to the end of the world. And right when he arrived in front of the monastery, the master was ill. And his brother, a one-eyed man, was standing at the door. Our man thought that was the master. So he started the contest. So the one-eyed man took the foreigner into the monastery, and the next morning everybody was much better. So the master asked the foreigner to come. Please tell me your contest with my brother, one-eyed man. I'm sorry I wasn't there, but I can speak with you, and if I like what you say, you'll be accepted. Oh, Rick, your brother, one-eyed man, is a great philosopher. When I arrived yesterday, I asked him, man is man representing unity. He looked at me and he said, unfortunately, no. Man is only duality, good and bad. I said, but how can I understand where I come from, the meaning of the Holy Trinity? And he said to me, it is made to be one again, like in primordial time. This was so beautiful. I looked at the sky. I was so inspired. I fainted. Please accept me in your monastery. I promise I know how to speak and I will be in silence. All right, you can enter. Have a good life with us. And then the master calls for his brother, the one-eyed man. Can you tell me the conversation you had with the foreigner yesterday? Of course. He came and he said, you have only one eye. I said, you think you're more funny because you have two? And he said to me, yes, but the two together makes 3 eyes, no? He said, you came to the end of the world to make fun of me? You want my fist in your head? He was so afraid, he fainted. Well, anyway, I couldn't have done anything else, you know, because in my family, everybody was telling stories. Father, mother, grandfather, grandmother, everybody. But first it was my mother. My mother. My mother! You know, she was a Norwegian immigrant after the Second World War. She wanted to quit her Norway, and she went to Paris, the big light city, and there she found my husband, her husband, my father. He was a Norman, and they fell in love, and Norway invaded Normandy a second time. 3 children, a little nice life in the suburb of Paris, and every evening, to keep contact with her own culture, my mother would read aloud in Norwegian Stories from Norway, infested with trolls. And you know, trolls, it's not what you think. It's not this little dwarf that you put in very nice books for children for Christmas, not to frighten them. It's not that at all. In my mother's stories, the troll, they were huge, mythologic, higher than the highest tree of the forest. And not when they didn't have one head, they would have 3 or 5 or 7 or 12 heads sometimes. Even sometimes they would have one eye for 3 trolls. And they would run into the forest, you know, passing the eyes around like this. And they would run after 2 little boys. They were scared to death in the forest, trying to escape from the 3 trolls in the Hedal woods. And the troll, they would say, ha 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 ha, the little 2 boys, we can see them. And they would pass the eye, you know, like this, and look for the little boys. Here they are, ha ha, we're going to eat them raw. And the 2 little boys scattered, they would run and fall down and hit their knees and come up again. And then suddenly my mother would say, okay, it's enough for tonight, boys. You survive stories like this. It should be forbidden to tell stories like this to children. Well, of course, when I started to be a storyteller, my first gesture was oral tradition. I told the story my mother told me to French people, and you know what? They loved it. No, truly, they really liked it. And you know, they paid me for years to tell them troll stories. And I made quite a good living out of that. I cannot blame my mother, can I? My father is different. He was a Norman, a practical man, a man from the earth. He was an artist, contemporary artist. Everything had to be true. So when he was his time, he would invent for us a little character. Each child had a character. I remember mine. I loved him. He was a little boy who was going to school with his bicycle like me, and he had a rucksack, and he always had problems. He would have a puncture, or he'd fall down, his knee would bleed. When he arrived to school, they would pull his rucksack and take his sandwich, and you know, and he had such a terrible laugh, and I really loved this little boy. He was called Asshole. On a Sunday, we were going to my grandparents, and my grandmother, when it was 5 o'clock, my grandfather was doing pancakes, and she would say, "Grandfather, tell a story to the children." Then we would laugh. My grandfather, he was our hero. He was a real hero. He had done the 2 wars, and for the First World War, he was always taken prisoners by the German. He was being thrown into a prisoner camp. He couldn't stand to be a prisoner. He would always steal German clothes and escape from the camp. And during the night, he would run into the forest, and he would arrive right to the edge of the country, and there would be a policeman there saying, "Hi, mein Herr, wie geht's?" And my grandfather, he couldn't say a word of German. So, of course, they took him back and up into the camp. And we were saying to him, "Grandfather, can't you just say, 'Hi, geht's gut,' something simple, and just go away, escape?" So he was trying again, taking German clothes, running around, out from the camp, into the forest, onto the border, and there the German was there. "Hi, mein Herr, wie geht's?" My grandfather, not a word of German. So sometimes we were making him escape several times, 7 times, 10 times. At the end he said, "I'm tired, children, I cannot escape anymore." All right, but you will promise me something. You will learn foreign languages. And we did it. And for my birthday, I always had a little book of stories from the world. Stories and legend from the world. A beautiful little collection of stories from everywhere. I loved it. It was my godfather. He was a Jewish doctor. He was giving me this present each time. And I loved him so much. One day I said to him, "I love these stories. Where do they come from? And why do you give them to me? And why are you my godfather?" And he said, "You don't know? You know? You mean your grandfather never told you the story?" No. Second World War. Your grandfather is running a factory, a gas factory in Cherbourg, in Normandy. It is taken by the Germans, transformed into a prisoner camp. In that factory, we burn coal to produce gas. There are hundreds of ovens. We all work for your grandfather. We like him. He's good. We also feel that he doesn't stand to see a man deprived from his freedom. There are rumors. People are escaping from the camp. The Germans are furious. One night, your grandfather came close to me. Doctor, it's tonight if you want. I trusted him. He took my hand and he brought me to a part of the factory I did not know. There were dozens of ovens. He opened a door. This one just died. It's clean and cold. Enter. I jumped into the oven. He closed the door. The Germans arrived. They were furious there. Rushed and shouted and looked for me everywhere. Then they all left. Your grandfather and his wife, they were the only one to stay on the site during the night. They opened the door, gave me wrong or false ID cards, and I escaped. I was saved. And after the war, you know, when we learned what had happened in the East, can you imagine? But your grandfather, he saved my life. A Jew doctor into a cold gas oven during the Second World War. Well, then you can understand why I'm there, why I'm your godfather. I never left him. When I find him again, and I'll stay close to him in my life. I'll just give you little books of stories because I think you might know your world better than I knew mine. And perhaps if you know your world better, you might be more in peace than I have been. And you know, even today, if I go back to this collection of little stories and legends of the world, I could name all the countries. And I still search for peace. Stories from the Mediterranean, Israel, Lebanon, stories of the Celts, Ireland, stories of Gilgamesh, Baghdad, Iraq, so on and so on and so on. So what did I do? To find peace, I traveled. I traveled to the end of the world. That's what I did. And you know where you find the end of the world one day? It's the most unexpected place. I did find the real end of the world in America, USA, Louisiana. I was searching for stories that came from France up to Quebec and down to the Cajun. And when I arrived in this little town, there was just one street and houses on each side, and a saloon and a theater. And the theater was called the New Olympia, and there was big, big letters in red lights shining like this, and it was written, "Tonight, starring storyteller from France, Abbi Patrix, sha, sha, sha." And you know, naively you think, America, I've made it, Hollywood, you. And I entered into the theater, empty. Very old, crummy, stage too high, two lights broken. I think, what's happening? Where are the people? Ah, we're sorry. There's a politic meeting in the saloon, and it's pretty hot. When it's finished, they will all come. There's nothing else to do. They come and listen to you. Okay, I waited. It was very agitated on the other side. They never came. And we canceled. And I was there, alone, in this huge theater with my name, shining in the street, with nobody. And just when I was going out, this man appeared. Beautiful man, all dressed in sweat, with a ponytail. Hello. I'm sorry, I'm a bit late. I'm Greyhawk, Indian Huma. I'm a guide storyteller. I heard you're French. You speak French? If you speak French to me, you'll be my friend. You know, my grandparents, they spoke French. The Indian Huma, they choose French as a resistant language, like all the others. The slaves, the Creoles, the Indians, the Cajun, we all spoke French. And then, you know, one day, one nation, one language, we all had to go to school and learn English. But I remember my grandparents, they spoke French. If you speak French to me, I'll give a story from them to you. And that's what he did. And that's the story he gave me. I hate the world is bad, man is a failure. Ho, ho, hey, I hate the world is bad, man is a failure. Ho, ho, hey. This is the story of a man who was complaining all the time about the world, saying the world was bad, the man was a failure, complaining. So one day in the village they asked him, would you please go and complain a little further out? So he left the village and he went in a little hut out of the village. The day he was hunting, and the night by himself he would complain. The world is bad, I hate the world, man is a failure. But in the village, there was a woman, and she thought, it's a pity to lose a man. He's not bad, it's just his heart is not open. She went to live with him, and in the beginning, one could feel that in the morning, there was kind of a smile on his face. But very fast, the dark thoughts took over. Man is a failure. Woman is still woman. The woman thought, alone I won't succeed. So they had a boy. And they had a girl. And what could feel, what could hope that the heart of stone of the father would break in front of his own children. But very soon, the dark thoughts took over. The world is bad, the world, man is a failure, woman is to woman. The children know, now you see. This morning, woman looked at the man. He was going to hunt. She kneeled down. She looked at the sky and she said, Creator, if you exist, do something for this man. I can't do anything anymore. Man, he was hunting. But while hunting, he was moaning, complaining. The grass is thick, the water is wet, the sun is hot, the game is numerous, the trees are too high, the bayou is too wide. Oh, I hate the world is bad, man is a failure. And suddenly a voice that came from the empty vast void until the feet of the man. Man, what is your problem? Creator, if it's you, can I tell you what I have on my heart? I hate your world. I hate the world. Man's a failure. Grass is too thick, the sun is too hot, the moon is too cold, the day is too long, the night is too short. All right, I understand, said the voice. You don't like my world? Good. I have disappeared everything you dislike. Good, said the man. And he started to hunt again. But at once he stopped. Mosquito didn't bite him anymore. Birds didn't sing. The grass disappeared. The bayou dried out. The trees vanished. The sun and the moon behind the clouds disappeared. His village faded away. His house, long disappeared. The path under his feet. And very soon, there was nothing under him and he shut. And he found himself alone. There was nothing left. Nothing but him in the vast void, empty. No village, no game, no sun, no sky, nothing. No, just myself. He was happy. He felt good. He felt rejoining the primordial unity of man. He felt like the unity in the eternity. Remind you something? Well, okay, what's happening now? It's a bit long. Okay, yes. Oh, what shall we do now? Nobody answered. Come on, I'm not going to stay here forever. It's starting to be a bit long. There's nothing to do here. Oh! Nobody answered. Come on, I'm not going to stay here like this. I mean, I know. No day, no night, nothing to complain. No answer. And suddenly a fear. I'm not going to stay here forever like this. No sleep, no desire, no dreams, no wishes, nothing. I'm alive, but I'm dead. And he felt such an emptiness. He felt so empty. He started to beg, and he started to cry. Please, don't leave me alone here. And from the very inside of himself, a little voice was answering, I'm sorry, but I cannot do what I haven't done. If you want the world, you have to name it yourself. If you name it with your heart, perhaps it will work. And the man, he gathered his thoughts, he gathered his wishes, his dreams, he gathered his memory, and he named. To be a man named, to be a man named, to be a man named, to be a man named. And he named, and he named. He named the world, he named the earth, he named the sun and the moon, and he named the stars and the sky, and he named the clouds and the wind, and he named the fire, and he named the trees, and he named the mosquitoes that bited him, and he named the singing of the birds, and he named the grass under his feet and the path of his village, and he named, and he named, and he named, and he named, and he named his house, and he named his wife, and he named his children, and he named, and he named, and he named. And when he arrived home, they were just waking up, looking at the sun shining, rising. He took them in his arms, and warmly he begged them, please, with me. Every morning you will come on that floor, on that door here. You will look at the world, and you will name it with me, so that it never disappears again. To be a man named, to be a man named. This is why the Indian Huma, they name the world, so that it never disappears. Name, name. And we storytellers, we are a bit like human Indians. We tell stories so that they never disappears again. Écoute plus souvent les choses que les êtres. La voix du feu s'entend dans la voix de l'eau. Écoute dans le vent, le buisson ensemble. C'est le souffle des ancêtres. Listen more often to things than beings. Listen to the sound of the fire. Listen to the sound of the river. It is the breath of our ancestors. Ceux qui sont morts ne sont jamais partis. Ils sont dans l'ombre qui s'éclaire et dans l'ombre qui s'épaissit. Ceux qui sont morts ne sont pas sous la terre. Ils sont dans l'arbre qui gémit. Ils sont dans le bois qui frémit. Ils sont dans l'eau qui coule. Ils sont dans l'eau qui dort. Ils sont dans la case. Ils sont dans la foule. Ceux qui sont morts ne sont pas morts. Écoute plus souvent les choses que les êtres. La voix du feu s'entend dans la voix de l'eau. Écoute dans le vent, le buisson ressemble l'eau, c'est le souffle des ancêtres qui ne sont jamais partis, qui ne sont pas sous la terre, qui ne sont pas morts. Listen more often to things than beings. It is the breath of our ancestors.